And round of applause, put your hands together for the wonderful Adam Wide.
Oh, there you are.
Good. Hello. Oh, marvellous. Well, this is my first Pavard. I'm so excited. Dobber. Good. I feel a bit of a fraud, though, after Lindsay being so completely brilliant, because really I'm just going to blather on, and I'm going to blather on about brooches and Christmas brooches. This is some of the Christmas forest, which you see behind me, and I collect brooches, and they're Christmas brooches. So that's what I'm going to talk about now. And along the way, we're going to talk about some Christmas surprises and reveal little bits about Christmas. But what about brooches? Well, brooches, they started obviously as a fastening for clothes, and then they started off as bits of old thorn and twig, and then during the Iron Age and Bronze Age, they got a little bit more glamorous. And then the Romans and Greeks obviously used them to tie up their togas. And then there's a language of brooches. This is Hillary Clinton trying to be almost normal, wearing a lunch of the Ritz. This brooch there, oh, show and tell. Now, I have got some brooches with me. And this is the first of several show and tells. And then I bought glittering boxfuls of brooches. Glittering boxfuls of brooches as well. So if you want to see any of the show and tell, I've got them in my pocket later, so you can just waylay me, and there I'll be with my brooches. So the language of brooches, we wear them for all sorts of different reasons. Showbiz people use them for all sorts of reasons. And then this is my mother, my dear mother, at her 95th birthday, wearing a brooch that her 3 children gave her. And this is my husband's grandmother, also wearing a brooch. So the brooches mean lots of different things to different people, and they all have a meaning. But brooches really first got their bling through to Daniel Swarovski in 1892. Before then, brooches were just rhinestones, which literally were stones found by the river Rhine. And these were quartz and just rock crystal. And that's what were rhinestones. And then Swarovski found a way of actually manufacturing gemstones, basically, with a high refractive index. And so this is, this one here is a show and tell from the Rockefeller Center in 2006. And Swarovski then completely just changed the whole world of broochery. On the back of each one, there's a little swan, and that's sadly what Swarovski basically make nowadays. Little kitsch, horrible fucking swans. That's so drab. Dorothy Bauer, though, she's rather glamorous. She's a German using Swarovski crystals. And that's a show and tell, which I've also got. But look how lovely that is in sort of 3D. No, it's gorgeous. And that is 65 out of 250. Some brooches are made in limited editions, and that is one. Butler & Wilson, I'm sure some of you will have some Butler. Anybody got Butler & Wilson? Surely, St. Leonard's, oh, you must be jam-packed full, thank goodness. Butler & Wilson sadly also went down the sort of kitsch, duck and mouse route. But back in the day, this sort of thing was absolutely glorious. And this is interesting. No, I mean, it's fantastic. I've never seen it that big before either. It's absolutely fabulous. But this one, interestingly, most brooches with designers have a little cartouche on the back, which says who the manufacturer is. But sometimes the manufacturers illegally run on when they're doing something for Butler & Wilson, and they just carry on the machines going on a little bit further. So this one doesn't have a cartouche on the back, and it's called cabbage, apparently, when they do that, when illegally they run the production on. So British brooches, most of them come from America. But in Britain, Butler & Wilson, obviously still there. Atwood Sawyer, well, I can't really show you. Oh, I've got a pointer. Oh, where's it gone? Where's the pointer? Oh, hello. No, I've gone backwards. Oh, no. I found my pointer. Oh, no, Tim, where do I go? There you are. Yeah, no, go back one. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, here we are. We'll carry on there. That's good. Spoon. So spoon, obviously we know from crockery in China. Crystal, they're so brilliant. So these guys started in the Portobello Road, and they bought lots of old antique stones. So look at how gorgeous this is. And the quality of the stones are just fantastic. And those are really from the mid-70s through the 80s. And so this is me, me and my collection. So here you see, oh no, let me see if I can get the pointer without going back here. These are the Cristobal that you just saw. And I store them in these drawers, big sort of architect's plan drawers. And how big is the forest? Well, I can sort of tell you. That's one of my drawers. And some of them are done alphabetically by designer, and then some are just done by color. But as you can see, the variety is absolutely amazing. How big is the forest? Well, in 2010, I got my first Guinness World Record. I know. So here he is, look, Adam Wide, that's me. And that led to the best job ever, where I ended up, curiously, as the Global Creative Director of Guinness World Records. So this is me in Holland doing an adjudication for the largest, whatever it's called, it's head, fingers, toes, and what's it called? Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. It's the largest head, shoulders, knees, and toes in the world. But anyway, as Global Creative Director, I had to actually go and do some of these adjudications. But this was an excellent one. So, oh no, go back. This is too big. No, go back. This is, go back. Top one. There, oh, now look, isn't this marvelous? So there's me in the middle without a beard, looking lovely. And this is Sultan Kosan, who was over 8 foot tall. And this is He Ping, who at the time was the world's smallest man. And we met in a mall in Istanbul. I bought them both together. And the headline was Tall Meets Small at Mega Mall. Fantastic. Then, straight after that, only about 3 years ago, somehow I acquired another 4,000 brooches or so. It's obsessive. Then I ended up with my second Guinness World Record. But the best bit about that was that I got syndicated. And there I am over here, look, being syndicated there in Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, but there I am. So back to brooches, because really this could go on forever. These are beautiful. It's an American designer. We've looked at Lunch at the Ritz with Hillary Clinton. This is Larry Verber. And he used to design for really the whole of showbiz. And we've got Patrick Swayze, Liza Minnelli, Carol Channing, Bette Midler, Una Thurman, and the Rockettes, the Radio City Rockettes. His jewelry is just incredible, as is Stanley Hagler. So this man, he was designing in the sort of late 50s. He started doing a bracelet for Wallace Simpson. And as a result of that, he got picked up by Vogue and Vanity Fair and other magazines. But look at the back of this, is as detailed as the front. It's absolutely fantastic. And the workmanship in these brooches is very easy just to overlook them as being something camp and glittery, which is obviously why I like them. But nonetheless, the actual workmanship in them is utterly phenomenal. But that's the high end. Obviously, at the low end, ding dong, Avon calling. And these are all Avon brooches, which Avon bought out, well, really from about 1978 onwards, and they do that once a year. They bring out a brooch. Oh, this is so nice. So Leah, one of the big American companies, did this brooch for Bloomingdale's. And what I love about it is it's gone back to the simple colors, the green, the red, and the silver of a traditional Christmas tree, which then takes me back in time to why the traditional Christmas tree. And well, that all started back in the time in the Middle Ages of the mummers. And the famous, or the favorite sort of mummer performance was the story of Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve's Saints' Day has to be December the 24th. So on December the 24th, the mummers would come to town, and the set on their sort of, the makeshift stage was always an evergreen tree with red apples on it. And then the snaking up through the tree was like silver tinsel, which was representing the snake. So for medieval England, the idea of a tree with red balls on it and this silver snake going through it was already an iconic sort of image, which was then obviously taken over by the Christians and the Germans particularly, of course, as the tree was established. Freiburg, Germany, claimed that they were the first in 1419, some bakers, they say, but that wasn't recorded. Whereas the first ever publicly recorded Christmas tree was in Riga, Latvia in 1510. In England, a lot of people think it's Victoria and Albert, but it wasn't. This is obviously in Bridgerton. I don't know if they had a tree or not, but Queen Charlotte and George had a Christmas tree in 1800 in Windsor Lodge. And Queen Victoria, as a little child, actually would have been there and witnessed it, and she wrote this in her diary. There were two large round tables where you can read it yourself, you didn't need to read it. So it was Victoria and Albert who popularized the Christmas tree. And that came about from this illustration in the Illustrated London News, which was quite a bit later, 1848. And this went absolutely global. It was viral. It went everywhere, not least to America. And this was the first time that trees were then brought inside the house in both England and the United States. So they popularized the tree rather than first invented it or brought it to England. So we got to Santa's. How lovely is this? Bettina van Volhoff. She was incredible. She toured with a circus in Germany. And she became an animal wrangler. And she wrangled, bringing up baby, the chimpanzee and this lion cub for Ringo Starr, at the same time as being an incredible brooch designer. You see it there at the top. And so this is just a selection of Santas, because obviously there's not only trees in the forest, there are also Santas. And then we come on to St. Nicholas, Father Christmas, Kringle, Sinterklaas, Santa Claus, and these are 5 completely different people. They really are. And we'll get one man, 5 personas. Let's go into them. Let's look at that. So St. Nicholas is the saint that we all know from Myra in Turkey. It was a good story. His bones were kidnapped by Italy, basically, and he was buried in Turkey. And the Italians thought, well, you know, he'd be quite a good tourist attraction. So they actually stole his bones from Turkey, and now they rest in Italy. But he was, anyway, a 13th century saint. The Christkindl, who becomes Kris Kringle, was a sort of, a very non-binary person who had no specific gender, and she was, or he was, or they were, the Christ child. And the Christkindl became Kris Kringle. Father Christmas was the embodiment of Christmas. It's what Dickens had as the Ghost of Christmas Past. And he was a big ruddy fellow who represented sort of rural, rustic Christmases from time gone past. Then we get into Sinterklaas, Santa Claus. So Sinterklaas is a Spanish saint recognized by the Dutch, and he arrives in Amsterdam Harbour on a boat from Spain. And he is the first person who had horses that dance and fly over rooftops. So we're beginning to see the story of the reindeer and all that evolving. And when the Dutch settlers went to America, they took Sinterklaas with them. And then over time, Sinterklaas, well, there's actually, it's quite good. Washington Irving wrote a it was a sort of fake Christmas thing about someone Knickerbocker in New York. It's quite funny, if you could be asked. But anyway, and then we had The Night Before Christmas by Clement Clarke. And it was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, nothing was stirring, not even a mouse, that then developed the whole idea of the reindeer and actually named the reindeer that we now know from the Dean Martin song. Sinterklaas became Santa Claus, and he was first really illustrated popularly by Thomas Nast in 1862. Now, again, myth that Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus and the red and the white. They didn't at all. And you can see this is from 1862, and we already have Santa Claus in red and white. And interestingly, this actually was a political statement because he's wearing a backpack for the Union soldiers in America. And it was a political statement. It was Haddon Sundblom, who's Swedish sort of commercial artist, in 1931, who developed the Coca-Cola image of Santa that we sort of know about today. So that brings us to Santa's reindeer. Now, I'm sure you all know already that Rudolph and all the reindeer are female. Yes? No, they are. They have to be because male reindeer lose or shed their antlers at wintertime. So if a reindeer has got antlers, it has to be female. So all of the reindeer are female, and I might shock you here, but so is Santa Claus. And because it's Santa Claus, like Santa Maria or Santa Benedetta. If it was a male, he would be San Claus, like San Diego or San Francisco. So the fact that he's Santa, or she is Santa, we have a completely all-female sled with, it's worth celebrating. So reindeer, there's fun facts about a reindeer. They can outrun a man 1 day old. And then this is very interesting, at least I find it so. There is Poronkosema. Poronkosema, right. Reindeer cannot have a pee whilst they're walking. They can only have a pee whilst they're standing still. So in Finland, there is a unit of distance, which is the length of journey that a reindeer can go without having to have a piss. So it's called a Poronkosema, and in case you're wondering, it's about 7.5 kilometers. So that's how some people in Finland measure distance by reindeer piss. Anyway, we go now back to brooches. So look at these. Just marvel at the variety there is of just a simple form like a Christmas tree. And we've got them over here. Look, there's pandas there. There's just so much going on. Fantastic. So, you can understand how I got seduced by their gorgeousness. This is oh God, this is so lovely. It's in one of these boxes here, Trifari. It's just sublime. Hollycraft, they're just utterly beautiful. I'll just scamper through these last few. Nordstrom is an American department store, and they commission a Christmas brooch every year, and they are utterly fabulous. Normally made by Swarovski. This one is plique-à-jour, which means you can actually see through it. It's translucent, the green bits, like a stained glass window. Absolutely fabulous. Oh, this is excellent. So it's titchy tiny, but it's the 12 days of Christmas going up, and you've got the drummers drumming, going right the way up to the partridge in the pear tree. And just for fun, I found that PNC advisors say that if you wanted to buy all the days of Christmas, it would cost you £45,000. But this is interesting that if you add them all together, there are 364 items. And then on the 365th day, Christmas Day, that's when you give them to your true love. That's nice, isn't it? Nice story. So, moving on. Oh, this is sweet. Cheap as chips, but it's just, again, so inventive and so cheerful and lovely and full of Christmas. Oh, this is so lovely. French. This is galalith, which is, you can read it. It's a synthetic plastic material manufactured by the interaction of casein and formaldehyde. But it gives you this beautiful, it's a modern plastic. utterly, utterly gorgeous. Yeah. David Wright, who does steel work, those are, and again, they're only about sort of 2 or 3 inches high. Utterly stunning. Oh, now, Lindsay, with all of your knowledge. So, Caroline Grimes was the little baby Zuzu, in the arms of James Stewart. In the very first picture, Zuzu was in his arms, and it just said the thing had come off, the newel post had come off the thing, and he's standing there with a little baby Zuzu. Caroline Grimes, the actress, commissioned this for the 75th anniversary of It's a Wonderful Life, and you can see it's got a bell. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. So it's nice, isn't it? Nice. This is one of my absolute favourites. It's really small, but it's so beautiful. 1920s Berlin. It's the embodiment of Art Deco, triangles within triangles. I took it to a jeweller in Berlin and said, what can you tell me about this? Well, it is very old. Yeah, thank you. It's silver, though. It's on a silver base, and a really lovely, lovely enamelling. This is great. So, yes, one of the Fabergé eggs, designed by Aberfield. In the atelier in St. Petersburg, there was hoarfrost on the windows, and she was having to come up with ideas for these eggs. And so the inside of the egg, the hoarfrost, was taken from the window of her atelier, and that in turn was made into a brooch by the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, and that's a sterling silver, and it's utterly, again, it's in here, it's an utterly beautiful brooch. This is nice, don't know who it's by, and this is actually my most valuable, so don't steal it. It's just a little bit north of £1,000, this one, I'm afraid. I know, ooh, ow, ooh. I used to have money once. Yeah. Then I moved to St. Leonard's. So, platinum diamonds, rubies, and cultured pearls. But, oh, gosh, it's so beautiful. Oh, no, this is good. Yeah, when I was in Berlin, I lived in Berlin for 10 years, I started a gay and inclusive rugby team called the Berlin Bruises. I know. And so I commissioned one of these very poncy jewelers, Stanley Hagler, to do one with what I like rugby ball shapes and the white seed pearls, because we were purple and white. And so this was a Stanley Hagler Berlin Bruises brooch. So I quite like that, In fact, that was a bit mad. We're on home stretch now. This is so utterly, utterly beautiful. And I saw it I had a white one. I bought a whole collection of Cathy Flood, who was the sort of doyenne of Christmas tree brooches, and I had this white one already. And I kept seeing this one in books. And here it is, illustrated this book. And I said, but how do I get my hands on this thing, this gorgeous brooch that I just adore? And she wrote to the person who she'd taken the photograph of the book. They said, no, it's their favourite brooch. And they went, so I see, everywhere I went, there was this brooch. It was driving me utterly mad. Then, curiously, I was on, bargain hunt. Same hat, same Santa suit. I was on bargain hunt, blithering on about brooches. And thank God it was actually shown on BBC America. And the woman who had the elusive Hollycraft said, oh, he's so sweet, let him have it. So I had to pay about 800 quid for it. But anyway, so I then got it. And then with that was they're united, you see, side by side. Look how beautiful that is. And then with that also came the unexpected pleasure of a third Guinness World Record. Because now Guinness World Records had found out that not only did I have the world's largest Christmas brooch collection, it was the world's largest brooch collection, full stop. No one has more. I know, and they're here in St. Leonard's. The world's largest brooch collection. So I think really that's an appropriate place to end. Thank you very much for listening. It's my passion. I love it. Yeah. 19 minutes 22.
Perfect.